a woman in the house, trying to stop the fire before it consumed the home.
Yeah,
She
bro.
grabbed the pot of burning oil with the intention of carrying it outside.
Yo, this girl gotta be stupid. Yo, this girl gotta be stupid. She got to be stupid. She wanna be all Superman, superhero, and all type of stuff. She wanna go ahead and pick up the pot and bring it outside. When in the right mind, you think that you have time to go outside and stop the fire? You stupid. You stupid. Now I see why you die. You stupid. Yo, what's good, YouTube? Today we're gonna be reacting the worst kitchen deaths ever. If you're new to the channel, make sure y'all boys like, comment, and subscribe to our post notification. Let's get straight to it.
The deep fryer incident.
Whoa.
On June 11th, 2016, in the city of Enid, Oklahoma, a 26-year-old woman was working the late shift at a small restaurant. It was a normal Saturday night.
Okay.
The dinner rush was over, and most customers had gone home. In the kitchen, the workers began their usual cleanup. One of the machines still running was the deep fryer. It had been used all day to cook fries, chicken, and other food.
Yeah, I know that oil is hot, boy. That oil is probably boiling hot. Put your finger in there, you're cooked.
Even after hours of cooking, the oil inside was still over 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, I know.
The surface of the oil shimmered in the light, giving off waves of heat. Everyone in the kitchen knew to be careful around it. The worker had been mopping the floor and moving between stations. The floor was slick from grease and water, and in the rush to finish, safety was not the first thought on anyone's mind.
Yep.
As she walked past the fryer, her shoes lost their grip. In a single second, she slipped forward.
Yo!
There was no time to catch herself. She fell chest first into the fryer.
Yo!
The hot oil splashed over her arms, chest, and face. The pain was instant and overwhelming. Her scream filled the kitchen. Other workers dropped what they were doing and ran toward her.
I ain't gonna lie, I know her skin is cooked. Her skin is probably so cooked, but and if she survived this somehow, hey, God is on your side. You know how hot a oil could get, bruh? That thing is boiling hot.
Grabbed her by the arms and pulled her back out, but the damage had already been done. Her skin was badly burned.
Yeah.
Clothes stuck to her body, and parts of her face had turned dark from the heat.
Yeah,
Every
bro.
movement caused more pain. An ambulance arrived within minutes. Paramedics wrapped her in wet cloths and rushed her to the hospital. Doctors tried to stabilize her, but the burns were too severe. More than half of her body had been destroyed by the oil.
Yeah,
Her
bro.
organs also began to fail from the trauma. Despite everything the doctors tried, she was pronounced dead shortly after arriving.
I mean, yo, think about it, bro. I mean, it's oil going on your skin. It was been on all day, bro. Like, of course you're not gonna survive that, bro. You're not. And if you do, bro, your skin is cooked. Like, your skin is cooked.
Investigators found that the kitchen floor had no anti-slip mats and the fryer had no guardrails. The gas stove incident. On March 12, 2014, people in East Harlem, New York, woke up to an ordinary morning. Families were cooking breakfast in their apartments. Children were getting ready for school. In one of the kitchens, a gas stove had been leaking for hours.
Yo.
Nobody noticed the smell at first. Gas is dangerous because it fills a room quietly. If it builds up and a flame is lit, the whole space can explode in an instant.
Yeah, you know what? I'm finna go in the backyard and take out my grill because my grill support gas. So let me go do that real quick. I'll be right back.
9:31 a.m., a spark from a stove set off the gas. The kitchen exploded like a bomb. Walls shook, windows shattered, and fire rushed through the building. Neighbors heard a roar and felt the ground move. Inside the apartment, there was no time to escape. The people closest to the kitchen died instantly from the blast. Others were trapped as the fire spread. The explosion was so strong it collapsed part of the 5-story building.
Yo.
Rescue workers rushed to the scene. Firefighters pulled survivors out of the rubble, but it was already too late for many. In total,
bruh.
8 people were killed and more than 70 were injured.
No way a thing like that could do that much damage, bro. There's no way, bro. There's no. There's no way that thing could do so much damage.
Many of them were ordinary families who had just been cooking breakfast. Investigators later confirmed that the blast came from a broken gas pipe that fed into the stove.
Yo.
The pipe had cracks and leaks that had not been fixed. Residents had complained of smelling gas days before, but the danger was ignored.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. If I smelled gas days before, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I would have left the building, bro. Just in case. Just in case. I would have left the building.
Disaster shocked New York City. Gas leaks had caused small fires before, but this was one of the deadliest kitchen explosions in the city's history. Newspapers showed pictures of the destroyed building, with only smoke and broken bricks where families had once lived. The terrifying part about gas is that you can't see it, and that's exactly what makes it so deadly. And
Yeah,
just
bro.
like that, there are invisible dangers online that we often ignore. I realized this myself when I searched my own name on the internet. The pressure cooker incident. In 2017, a family in Florida was preparing dinner at home.
Okay.
Like many households, they used a pressure cooker. It was a common kitchen tool, designed to cook food faster by sealing steam inside a heavy pot. But when something goes wrong, the pressure inside can turn it into a deadly weapon. On
Ow.
this evening, the family's pressure cooker was filled with beans. As it heated up, the valve on the lid should have released extra steam. Instead, it failed. Pressure built inside the pot, higher and higher, until the lid could no longer hold it. Suddenly, the lid blasted off with the force of a bomb. It shot across the small kitchen like a piece of flying metal.
Yo,
In the path of the explosion was a young child. The lid struck the child in the head. The noise of the blast was so loud that neighbors thought it was a gunshot.
yo. Bro, imagine being a mom, cooking, next thing you know, you just see that thing blast open and then your daughter die because of it. I ain't gonna lie, I would have been so traumatized, bro. Like, yo, I would have sued the company. I ain't gonna lie, I would have sued the company.
Inside the kitchen, chaos followed. Food and boiling water sprayed across the room. The family rushed to the child, who was already badly injured. They called 911 and tried to stop the bleeding while waiting for paramedics. An ambulance arrived quickly. The child was rushed to the nearest hospital. Doctors worked through the night, but the head injury was too severe. The next day, the child was pronounced dead. The
Yeah.
accident
I ain't gonna lie, I would have sued the company. Cause what do you mean it failed to release pressure that's in the pot? What do you mean it failed?
Local news reported it as a tragic reminder of the hidden danger in every home. Pressure cookers were supposed to be safe, but defective valves and worn-out seals had already been blamed in dozens of injuries and deaths across the United States.
Oh yeah.
In the following months, lawsuits were filed against
Oh.
pressure cooker manufacturers.
Yup.
Consumer safety groups warned about models that had faulty lids or failed safety features. The grease fire incident. On November 28, 2014, the day after Thanksgiving, a family in Cedar Hill, Texas, was finishing their holiday meals. In the kitchen, a
Damn.
large pot of oil sat on the stove. It was being heated for frying food, a common holiday tradition. Grease and cooking oil are among the most dangerous things in a kitchen. When oil becomes too hot, it doesn't just boil, it catches fire. That's exactly what happened in Cedar Hill.
Yup.
At some point during the cooking, the oil began to smoke. Seconds later, flames shot up from the pot. The fire spread fast. Flames reached the wooden cabinets above the stove. The kitchen filled with thick smoke. A woman in the house, trying to stop the fire before it consumed the home,
Yeah,
she
bro.
grabbed the pot of burning oil with the intention of carrying it outside.
Yo, this girl gotta be stupid. Yo, this girl gotta be stupid. She got to be stupid. She wanna be all Superman, superhero, and all type of stuff. She wanna go ahead and pick up the pot and bring it outside. When in the right mind, you think that you have time to go outside and stop the fire? You stupid. You stupid. Now I see why you die. You stupid.
The moment she lifted it, the oil splashed over the edge. Burning liquid poured down her arms and
Yup.
chest. Her clothes caught fire instantly.
Yup.
She screamed as the flames spread across her body.
Yup.
Neighbors heard the cries and rushed over. They saw smoke pouring from the kitchen window.
Yup.
By the time they pulled her out of the house,
Yep. You want to be all Superman, save the world. You want to go ahead and pick up the pot? Now look, now you're dead.
she had already suffered burns across most of her body. Firefighters arrived within minutes and extinguished the fire, but the damage to her was done. Paramedics rushed her to Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas, a facility known for its burn unit. Doctors tried to stabilize her. She was placed in intensive care, but the burns were too severe. Within hours, she died from her injuries.
Yep.
The case appeared in local news across Texas as a tragic holiday accident. Fire officials explained that grease fires happen quickly, often within seconds. Once the oil ignites, the flames can double in size almost immediately. They used it to warn the public. Never move a pot of burning oil, never throw water on a grease fire. The only safe way is to smother it with a lid or a fire extinguisher. The electrocution incident. In July 2019, at a restaurant kitchen in Allentown, Pennsylvania, a normal day of work ended in tragedy. The victim was a 32-year-old kitchen employee. His job that afternoon was to clean and maintain a commercial deep fryer. The fryer had an electric heating system. It used strong power cables to keep the oil at cooking temperature. Over time, grease and water had leaked into the wiring. The protective covers were damaged, but the machine was still in use. As the worker leaned in to clean the area, he touched one of the metal parts connected to the power line.
Yo.
In that instant, thousands of volts passed through his body. Witnesses later said that he cried out and collapsed immediately. His co-workers at first thought he had slipped, but when they tried to pull him back, they felt the shock themselves.
Yo.
They had to use a wooden broom handle to move him away from the fryer. Emergency services were called at once. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but the man was already in cardiac arrest.
Oh yeah, GG's. Yeah, once you're in cardiac arrest, GG's. GG's. It's either you're dead or you come back to life, but most likely you're dead when you're in cardiac arrest.
Tried CPR and used a defibrillator. For nearly half an hour, they attempted to restart his heart. Finally, at the hospital, he was pronounced dead. Investigators from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, reviewed the scene. They found that the fryer had exposed wires and no proper ground connection. It was a clear safety violation. The restaurant was fined thousands of dollars for failing to maintain safe equipment.
Nah, facts. I would have did the same thing. I would have sued that restaurant too, bro. Anything, I would have sued it.
Electrocution in kitchens is less common than burns, but it is just as deadly. Water, steam, and metal surfaces make kitchens perfect places for electricity to spread. In this case, a single contact point was enough to kill instantly. The freezer incident.
Oh my
On
gosh.
September 23, 2019, a 61-year-old woman started her morning shift at a restaurant in Boston, Massachusetts. Like many kitchen workers, she began the day by checking supplies. The restaurant had a large walk-in freezer, a cold room where meat, vegetables, and other food were stored.
Right.
At around 8 a.m., she stepped into the freezer. The heavy metal door closed behind her. Normally, this was no problem. Walk-in freezers are built with safety handles on the inside, so
Okay.
workers can always push their way out.
Right.
But on this day, the handle was broken. The freezer
Yo! Imagine working. Next thing you know, you go in the freezer, turns out the thing broke, so you can't get out. Oh my gosh, that gotta be the worst day ever, bro. I would have banged on that door so loud, bro. I would have boom, boom, boom.
sealed shut. The woman was trapped. Inside, the temperature was set to below -10 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, you're
In
cooked.
such cold, the human body loses heat very quickly.
Yeah, you're cold. Yeah, you're cooked. -10 degrees? Yeah, you're cooked. You're so cooked. There's that, bro. You bang on that door, boy.
Within minutes, fingers go numb. After half an hour, muscles weaken and thinking becomes slow. Hypothermia sets in, and the body begins to shut down. For hours, nobody noticed that she was missing. The kitchen was busy preparing for the day, and other staff members assumed she was working in another part of the restaurant. The freezer was in a back area, away from the noise and movement of the main kitchen.
Even if you bang on that door, bro, they wouldn't hear you. Yeah, you would have been cooked regardless, bro. Damn.
The woman grew weaker. At some point, she collapsed near the door. With no way to call for help, there was nothing she could do. It was only later in the day, when coworkers went to look for her, that they discovered the truth. They opened the freezer and found her body on the floor, close to the door, as if she had been trying to escape. Paramedics were called immediately, but there was nothing they could do. She had died hours earlier from extreme cold. The Mixer Incident. On October 21, 2001, in a small pizza shop in New Jersey, a normal evening shift turned into a tragedy. The
Right.
restaurant was family-run, like thousands of others across America. In the back of the shop stood a large dough mixer. It looked like a household kitchen mixer, only much bigger, with a wide bowl and a heavy metal fork that spun inside. That night, a 15-year-old boy was working in the kitchen. He had only recently arrived in the United States from Guatemala and had been on the job for a few weeks.
Okay.
His job was to help prepare dough and clean the machines. The dough mixer was powerful. It was designed to mix large amounts of flour and water at once. Everyone in the shop knew it was dangerous if not used carefully. The rules were clear. Never clean it while it was running. But the safety cover on this machine was broken, and training was poor. At some point during his shift, the boy opened the cover and reached inside to scrape out leftover dough. The mixer was still switched on. The rotating fork caught his arm and pulled him into the machine. His coworkers heard him scream and ran to help. They tried to switch the mixer off.
Bro, if I was the parents, I would have sued this company too. I don't care. Yo, every company that have a deaf in there, bro, if I was the mom or the dad or whatever, bro, I would have sued y'all.
By the time it stopped, it was too late. The boy had suffered catastrophic injuries.
Bro.
Firefighters and paramedics were called. When they arrived, they had to partially dismantle the machine with tools before they could free his body. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
Yeah,
Investigators from OSHA later reviewed the accident. They found multiple safety failures. The safety guard on the mixer had not been working. The young worker had never received proper training.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he should not have been operating such dangerous equipment in the first place. He was only 15 years old. The
Yo,
rest
15 working at a restaurant like that, bro. Yo, when I was 15, bro, I was in class, bro, learning about math and times tables. I was in school learning about things, not working.
restaurant was fined, and the case was widely reported in New Jersey newspapers.
Alright, YouTube, if y'all did enjoy that video, make sure y'all boys like, comment, and subscribe, turn on post notification. I will catch you guys in the next one.